in cases where you cannot find that wine, we want to give you a description to go into your wine store with so you can get the type of wine any way that we like. You can spend $40 a bottle, but I think you can do better with $22 a bottle. So one of the best things in the world is that someone gives you a specific wine recommendation for a dish. We say it has to be the 2018 Zarate Albariño. You go, yay, they gave me a specific recommendation, but then I'm never going to be able to find that wine. I know that's, recommending a specific wine with a dish is the best way to get the most fantastic pairing, but I also know how frustrating it is to try to find that wine. In fact, many people don't even try to look. They know it's going to be impossible to find that wine. So what we try to do at Pairing Base is we make sure that it's easy for you to find and get the wine we recommend. But in cases where you cannot find that wine, we want to give you a description to go into your wine store with so you can get the type of wine any way that we like. So that's what we're going to talk about here. What to ask for in your wine store when you want a wine that's going to be amazing with this dish, chicken francese, and you can't find the Zarate Albariño. So Irene, what do you think people should ask for in the wine store when they want a wine that's going to be amazing with this dish? We know they can't just ask for Albariño, because if they ask for Albariño, they could get many different types of wines, and those wines won't do with this dish what the Zarate did with the dish. So if you want to guide them or guide the wine store to pick the one that's going to have the best results with this dish, what would you say they might look for?
I think you need something that's not the super lean style. You do want something with a little bit of body. And very often Albariños, they have a sort of a lot of peach notes to it. Mm-hmm. Now, I think this wine has some peach to it, but I think that's fine because it's a little bit subtle. Mm-hmm. But there's also some other lovely citrus notes, and not just lemon, but for me, there you get sort of like an orange zest quality to it as well. Right. Certainly there's texture here. It's not a full-bodied wine, but it does have some weight to it, nice acidity, and then I just don't think you want anything too lean.
I would say you should not be afraid of too much acid, and you should not be afraid of too much sort of intensity or concentration of citrus flavors, mm-hmm. Because those will resolve nicely with the dish.
I concur.
Awesome, yep. Awesome, fantastic. Yep. Another one we liked, not our favorite, but another one we liked, an Albariño we liked for the dish. Let's look at that one and see how that tastes and what you should ask for if you want something like this. This is the Granbazan Verde Albariño.
There's a little more peach here.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I actually think the acidity is a little higher on this.
Mm-hmm, interesting.
And I get a little more of that leesy character mm-hmm. that's giving the wine some texture. Mm-hmm. Both of these wines, what they have in common is this lovely kind of saline quality, mm-hmm. which nice. I think this dish needs.
So we tasted a bunch of Albariños. Would you say that some of the Albariños we tasted were, for me, they were kind of subtle, a little bit quieter. These are big Albariños in the Albariño world. So mm-hmm. I think you should not be afraid to ask for a big, mm-hmm. Expressive Albariño with tons of acid.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
And some of the Albariños we tasted, I think, were a little, a little herbaceous, and I don't think you want anything. Right. A little bit's okay. Right. That will complement the dish, but I think too much is going to be too much.
Right. Very cool, very cool. Okay. The other thing we tasted was this specific white Burgundy. The problem we had with the different Chardonnays was that the oak, for me, got in the way of the experience. Now, I would serve these pairings all day long to my friends, but if you wanted to play it safe, some people like playing it safe, you could serve a Chardonnay, but I think it's got to be a Chardonnay that's something like this guy here. Same glass or a different glass?
Same glass.
Okay. We'll talk about what to ask for if you want a Chardonnay like this guy. I'm going to give my glass to everyone else because I know these are totally different.
So there's some oak there, but it's mm-hmm. very subtle. Mm-hmm. It adds just sort of a delicate nuance of maybe a little caramel, right. but it's very, very light,
right.
which I think works. I actually think specifically with the the caramelization that's done on the lemon.
Right, right.
I think that's a nice compliment, a nice echo.
Right, right. Doesn't operate at the same volume that this one does. It's not as turned up as this guy is, I think, in terms of like, you know.
I mean, I think because the aromatics are much more reserved because Chardonnay itself is not a very aromatic grape variety. You do get some richness here as well. I think I feel like these two are sort of similar weight.
Right.
Which I do think this dish doesn't need anything heavy, but it does need something with some body.
You want a white Burgundy that has some weight. You definitely do taste the weight with this. It has some acid, lots of acid. No obvious oak.
I mean, not overblown oak. I think
Okay.
a little bit of subtle oak is okay, and I think you have to be careful when you say you don't want anything with oak, because a lot of things are oaked, but they're done in neutral barrel,
oak. Right.
and you don't taste the oak, but they do affect the texture.
Now, I think one of the things that makes this work, aside from the fact that it doesn't have any obvious oak, is that it's got some weight. Is that weight coming from the grapes? Is the weight coming from something else? Where do you think the weight is coming from? Do you sense that weight?
I do. I mean, I think it's from the grape itself. What's the vintage on this? I think it depends on how warm the vintage was, 2015. And you know what? It's 15% alcohol.
There
So
we go.
that alcohol contributes weight, for sure.
Right.
Without a doubt.
Right. So you do want something heavy, something with weight.
I wouldn't say heavy, but I would say it does have to have some body.
Right. Yeah. I think the body.
Because when I think heavy, for me, it implies something that doesn't have any acid and that's really sort of flabby, which is not what this dish needs. Nor is it terribly appealing to drink on its own.
Zero obvious oak?
No, there's a touch there.
If you're going to the wine store asking for a wine, do you want to say a touch of oak is fine?
I would say that.
Okay.
I would say that.
Okay. How about butteriness? Is this buttery at all to you?
Not terribly.
No, not at all. No. I get more richness and lemon, but kind of subtle and integrated.
There's a sweetness to the lemon though. It's
Alcohol.
Oh, alcohol for sure, but there's a sweetness to the fruit as well, in a citrusy way.
Right. So hopefully this is going to help you when you go into the wine store and say, I want the Zarate Albariño, and they don't have it. And you say, well, do you have something like this or that? That's what we've got for you. And we hope this makes you look amazing at your dinner when you have friends over for chicken francese, or if you're sitting down on your own and want to have a fantastic food experience. One thing I should mention, which is very important, is that we talked a lot about which of these do you want to serve to your friends. We talked about the three different wines. The Granbazan Albariño we mentioned that we said was not our favorite, but still pretty good, is $40 a bottle. The Albariño we like best is $22 a bottle. And the white Burgundy is $50 a bottle. And by the way, this one might be pretty hard to find. So if you want a fantastic experience and don't want to spend too much money, I think you can do very well to buy this $22 bottle of Zarate. I know the Granbazan is very easy to find. You can find it everywhere in a $40 bottle. But again, you can spend $40 a bottle, but I think you can do better with $22 a bottle. And I think that's really something that is interesting to know and maybe fantastic to know. People usually think that you got to spend more on a bottle of wine to get a fantastic pairing. And I think $50, $40, $22 proves that you don't. So this should help you find the wines that are going to give you a fantastic food experience for yourself or for your guests. And check out our future videos. But don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks a ton. Hey, thanks a ton for watching, and click on the box to see the next video.